We are live via StreamYard. So I am Karen Ray, and this is Fave Lifestyles and the Fave Biz Society. And I'm going live each week asking the experts some questions, and we are talking about important issues to women and kind of introducing some of our community members to the Fave groups. And today we have Sharon Marine. I love your middle name, and Sharon Hockenbury. Thanks for joining me. So tell me,
thank you.
I'm so glad I see you sitting outside and enjoying
the nice around. Oh, there's the river. I'm so spoiled to be sitting on this deck in the sun.
Yes. And, today we're going to talk a little bit about how change and challenges can rob us of our soul-ation. And so before we talk about it, because I'm not exactly sure what soul-ation actually means, so we will talk about that. But tell us a little bit about you and your VIPs in your world.
Oh, thank you for asking about me. It's always kind of nerve-wracking to talk about yourself, but since you ask, I will tell you. So I've been in the natural health and wellness industry for over 30 years. And it started with the birth of my third child, who had some challenges. And my mama heart just went to work trying to find solutions for him. And from that point on, it just evolved. And it was like one of those things that would never leave me. Even when I got burnt out and thought, I don't want to do this anymore, it would always find its way back. And I began to realize and embrace that it was my calling, and my running from it wasn't so much that I didn't have the knowledge, the wisdom. It was I hadn't developed the lifestyle to facilitate serving others. And that's how Soul-ation was born eventually. I just began to accumulate what I've learned along the way and what's worked for me. So I've been an herbalist. I own a nutrition and wellness center in North Bend. We also have a wellness boutique where we do fitness classes for women and 45 up to I have ladies up in their 70s, where we really believe we can be strong at any age. I am passionate about helping people thrive from the inside out, and that is what Soul-ation is.
Oh, I love it. And I love that you followed that passion, even sometimes when it wasn't the most convenient or, life was happening, and just to take it through those steps and just keep on going, and that consistency to follow your passion. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. Passion and truly a calling. It's something that it was gripped into my heart and my soul. I believe it's something that I came to this earth with, and I couldn't run from it.
Tip of the day: sometimes you can't run from your passion. It's going to follow you wherever you go, and the world and the people around you are challenging you to bring that to life, that gift to life, and to serve others. I absolutely love it. I didn't know our conversation was going to go this way, and but this consistency. I mean, that's what we're all about at Fave, is just sharing those gifts and those passions that we have, and having that life of significance to help others, so make an impact. So absolutely love that. So Sharon, tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. That Soul-ation.
Well, it's about the 3 steps that I've narrowed down 30 plus years of wisdom into 3 steps. And they are steps that can be incorporated no matter what you're calling, no matter what your life brings you, changes, challenges. And I am passionate about establishing these 3 things in your life so that you can keep living out your passion, your purpose, without getting derailed. And often, especially very vision-driven, passionate, entrepreneurial women are challenged with making themselves a priority and paying attention to these 3 things. Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Alrighty. And
yeah.
So go ahead.
Just to pause just for a second. So I want to just frame this too, that you also coach on these things. Is that
Yes.
correct? So
Yes.
I don't know if that was in the description earlier, but this is I don't know, a program, a
Yes.
coaching system that you actually can take people through as well. So
Absolutely. So
giving
I
them
developed the Soul-ation system. It's an 8-week coaching program.
excellent.
And I find that, again, entrepreneurial women, very purpose driven women, they have a lot of knowledge and they have a tremendous amount of wisdom. But what we need is community or an accountability partner, someone to come alongside to draw forth what's already inside us and put maybe words to it so it's understandable, it's executable, and it's not a long journey. So that's I'm probably not sharing a whole lot of things new, but the Soul-ation system is my unique way of helping women go through life, meeting challenges, doing what they love without compromising their own well-being.
Yes, very well said. And
Mhm,
I think, we know these things. I mean,
mhm,
that's just like with eating too.
mhm,
We know what we should be eating.
mhm,
But when you have either a community or somebody like you said, walking by your side,
mhm.
I'm going to be reminded of these things
Yeah.
too. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be eating healthy if I want to get to this next place in life. Yeah, I have to change some things. And sometimes it's that mental, sometimes it's changing those beliefs of the heart,
Mhm.
and or just having somebody kind of be there for you.
That's right. And that is the first point with the Soul-ation system. It is nourishing your body in a way that is mindful
Mhm.
and that it balances the blood sugar. So I believe we are expelling a lot of energy throughout the day. We're not sitting around, watching one day at a time, popping bonbons like the old saying was, right?
Right, right.
We are expelling a lot of energy, and our blood sugars, especially as we move into our menopausal years, they fluctuate a lot, and many
Mhm.
women complain about gaining that extra weight, and there's a lot of theories of why that happens. But what I found in my own practice is if we eat mindfully, that means listening for our hunger and our satisfied signals, and then we eat so that our blood sugars do not drop low. And that is evident many times in mood changes, a sense of sadness, or all of a sudden you feel like you're famished, like you have waited way too long. And then it's hard to stay controlled in nourishing yourself because you're so hungry, you're going to grab whatever satisfies you at the time, which may not be nourishing to you. So, in my program, I coach women, I look at their lifestyle, and I teach them to establish a routine so they can consistently take time to nourish themselves. Um, and food is very emotional. We release hormones when we eat. So it's an important part of our life to really take time to nourish ourselves mindfully.
Well, that is interesting. The one point that you said that there is emotion around when we're eating. I mean, I know we eat when we are emotional, and so sometimes we make bad choices. But to think too that as we're eating, it is creating an emotion.
It is. We release oxytocin when we eat. That's what we know when we're breastfeeding, when we're having sex. It is that oxytocin, and when we eat, that's why community is so beautiful. When we sit around and eat, and everybody feels good, but we can also have that rush with our own being, our own selves, as we sit mindfully and nourish ourselves.
Oh, I need to learn that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if anybody else does this. I am a single woman, and so I don't like eating by myself. I actually go take myself out. That's my
Mhm.
entertainment, if you will. My special thing for myself is just go eat amongst other humans.
Isn't that a beautiful thing? And then your body's already your body, your being, your mind, your soul's already told you, this is how I will nourish myself. I'm going to take myself out, sit in community, whether I know them or not, and eat. So you have done the very thing that needs to be done, being mindful of what your body asks of you so that you can be well nourished and taken care of. Yeah,
I'm doing something right.
you're
Yes.
doing a lot of things right. Yeah.
But yeah, just being mindful of that too. I just love that.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
So
so in my program, I would teach people what that means. I would give them food charts. I would help them apply it practically so that they're not having to go to the grocery store and completely turn their life upside down. I know when I first got into nutrition, in order to help my son, we went radical like right away. I threw away everything. I was in my 20s. I mean,
Mhm.
I lived on a pot of coffee and a 6-pack of Coke a day, right? And so I went and we tossed our cupboard, and my children and I joked that we lived on rice cakes and peanut butter for 2 weeks while I started figuring it out. I've come a
Oh,
long way since then.
yes, but isn't that wonderful, that mother instinct in you to seek those, some solutions and what can work. And then that's what kind of we're talking about here too, is seeking those solutions and testing it out. And I love how you have, things all prepared so to make it
Yes,
go easily
yes.
and without any difficulties, like adding, because it's hard to add more things onto our lives because
No,
they're full. But
we do. And with nutrition, I don't want to belong this if that's not what your intent is. But I will say this: there is just little simple things. Even if you were to do one thing, ask
mm,
yourself, what is the one thing I could do this week to improve my nutrition or make sure I'm nourished at a core level? Incorporate that one thing. It may look different. Will look different for everyone. So, but asking yourself, what is the one thing I could do this week to step up my nutrition so
yes.
that I balance my blood sugars?
So let's give them one thing that maybe they can do this week. Do you have a suggestion?
Well, I have, for example, this may sound for myself, I drink bullet coffee every morning. Okay, that's my routine. And it sounds, I put collagen in it, I put fiber in it, I put functional mushrooms in it. So it's a meal in a cup. And that's what I figured out for myself. I enjoy my coffee. I don't have a huge appetite, but I know it's vital that I establish a nutritional base. So finding the one thing in the morning that will leave you feeling satisfied and nourished, and do not compromise on that one morning routine and meal.
And that's a great place to start in the
It's a
morning.
very simple, and it doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be, if it's a piece of almond butter and toast, and that sounds good to you, and that's what your body's asking for this week. Be consistent with it.
Yes. And we've got somebody, so just so people watching, we are on StreamYard. So if you have not been on StreamYard yet, we can see your comments, but we can't see your name. So please feel free to say who you are so we can recognize you and say hello. We've got somebody out there. She said, oh, how nice. Yes. So it's good to have some of our lifestyle ladies watching. So welcome to our little show here of Ask the Expert. So that, Sharon, the next thing you were talking about is routine. So we talked about nutrition and then creating routines.
Yes, and this was something that I established while raising children. I have 9 children, so
Oh,
routine was important.
yes.
So, but schedules were debilitating. And often, and I know that we have deadlines. I needed to be online with you, right, at 10 o'clock this morning. That was a deadline. But to live our life in deadline is taxing to the adrenals. Routines establish a sense of rhythm that flow with who we are in our own individual lives. So when I say a routine, even as graceful for yourself as I'll get up between 6 and 7. Okay, that grace from 7 to 9. These are a list of things I would like to accomplish. From 9 to 11, this is going to be my social media time. Routines where it affords you grace for distraction at times, because after all, we are busy women. But seeing that routine, so I did this a lot growing up with children. I had little post-its with colors and routines, and the beautiful thing was I could unpeel that post-it. I'm going to switch up this routine today. I'm going to move this part of my routine up here, and I'm going to move this part down here for whatever reason. So routine, and again, in a coaching situation, I get to ask, what serves you? What do you hope to accomplish? What is your natural rhythm of
Mhm.
your body? All of us are different. I have friends that as soon as they hear the first bird, they're like awake and ready to go. And I'm going, a bird? Oh my God. Let me find my sheet, So, but I do wake up. The light wakes me up, but I'm not ready to get up. I know in my own body, for example, my routine, I need about 30 minutes to acclimate to awake. And I
Um,
used to be, oh, why? I'm so tired. No, my body takes about 30 minutes to acclimate to full awake. I know that about myself. So I just don't schedule things that will interrupt that, or I at least plan for that. So
mm,
routines, and that again, that's so individualistic. I'm not going to tell you, I want you up by 6:30 and I want you eating breakfast by 9:30. No, it's routine. And then, is there anything else you'd like to know about that?
yeah. So you're sparking some thoughts in my own life and what I see other women in our community. A lot of the ladies have maybe they're coming from corporate or they're starting a new business, and so they haven't created that routine or that rhythm yet. Maybe they didn't even know what that looks like.
Right.
So what would you kind of suggest as kind of that first stepping point as to discover what kind of rhythm is going to take you in this new space, if you will?
hmm So, what kind of a rhythm? I
Or what's maybe a first step
for
to kind of
well,
discover
first step
that?
would be to look at how, number one, how can you nourish yourself. That's priority, right? So what is your routine? How can you nourish yourself before you charge out the door? Or if you're going to charge out the door, what can I supply myself with so that I don't leave and start my day unnourished? So
Oh,
incorporating that routine, for me, spiritual connection is vital, and it doesn't have to be hours. So if I know that I have to be out the door to a corporate job by 6 in the morning, it's going to be quite a challenge, right? But because you're going to probably have to give yourself a little more grace, I would change jobs personally. But if that's your calling and that's what you're into, so it's establishing the basic. How can I nourish myself before I start my day? That would be it. And then establishing, right now, for example, I'm working with a woman that's got a job where it's got her at swing shift. And there's a couple of habits that she wants to change. So my job is, I actually wrote her routine out for her. And it could not be based on time because her job changes. It's not always an exact. So I gave her routine upon rising. This is what you do.
oh,
Um, when your first break at your corporate job, when you get home, before you go to bed. So I help her, and I helped her establish a routine based upon those milestones instead of time. So that really has helped a lot of women establish routine. Not let the clock dictate, but your natural rhythm of what you have to accomplish each day.
oh, wow.
Mhm.
Doesn't I feel like that just takes off a lot of pressure.
Right, right.
Because there's a lot of ladies that maybe were stay-at-home moms or you're becoming an empty nester, and your
Yeah,
world is really changing.
it
You
is.
were in this mode of taking people here, all this stuff happening, you were managing everybody's schedules, and now all of a sudden it's you.
That's right.
You're
Yeah.
starting a business maybe,
And
and what does that even look like? Because you had your hours, between 9 and 3, and you know what happened before that, and you know what happened after that.
right.
And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, but I need to get all this stuff done for this business, and how do I do it?
Right, exactly. And I there was a book that was published many, many years ago. It was called The Tyranny of the Urgent. And the book was about letting how we let the urgent drive us. And really urgency often is built around story. And we create this big story. If I don't do this and I don't do that, then we go down this rabbit hole of what we perceive is going to happen, and it's all a story. So when we establish basic routine, there's going to be, of course, things that derail us, but it's so simple to come back to equilibrium. And
Mm,
also, we can switch it up as we change in a challenge. I've talked to another woman recently who is moving and taking care of a husband with dementia. Well, her life seems completely upside down right now, but what is the one thing you can do that would make you feel more stable before you face all these things throughout the day. And we came up with that one thing she could do in the morning that would ground her, nourish her. It's part of her routine, and it's only one thing. It's not an all-day routine, because right now everything is crazy. But she can say nothing else will stand in that way, barring a true emergency.
I love this, and I would love to hear from anyone who's listening out there. And we have Heather Ross said hello. Hi, Heather. Yeah, what's one thing that you can do to nourish yourself before you start the rest of the day? Or is that this is going to happen?
Right.
I love focusing on one thing because.
And then, of course, when you're in a system and you're learning, it's like you have a Rolodex in your head, and you may land. Oh, here we go. Today, this is what that's going to look like. In my life, I have a spiritual Rolodex. I have an emotional Rolodex. I mean, it's in my head because of all the things I've established in my own life. I'm feeling very emotional. Let's say one day, very depressed. I had a hard week last week. There was a lot of variables in my life. I kept in my routine, and I flipped my emotional Rolodex. What is it I emotionally need? And how can I bring myself back into a sense of well-being? And I have techniques, routines, things that I do, and I did it. And I rode the ebb and flow of that emotion. I didn't shove it. And I don't know where we're at on time, but I do want to say this. There's a saying, and it's my tip: emotions buried alive never die. Entrepreneurial women, busy women, women with a very strong calling are very good at shoving things to the side so they can get about their business. And that buried emotion will never stay buried. It will always surface somehow, some way, usually in a bodily a symptom. It could be in depression. It could be in despair, but your emotions are speaking to you, and we don't have time to shove them. So I've developed and learned techniques that help us process them quickly. And then when we process them quickly, not always deeply, but we can process them, and sometimes deep work like hypnosis is part of my program, is very, very needed. And we go there and we dig up some soil and we find out what's going on. But that would be my tip. I think I would love to leave women with is take the time to feel the feels, process the emotions in your daily routine, and it's going to make you a more stable, balanced, fun-loving, successful woman in whatever you do.
Oh, Sharon, such great things. And we are running out of time, but just so the ladies know, and I'm just going to go to the comments here real quickly. One woman said 15 minutes of meditation is what she's going to add.
I'm going to move too. Excuse me. I'm going to move inside because my battery's going dead.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we will finish up here so you can go read the comments and answer the questions that are there. And the other piece that we will just want to do, let everyone know that Sharon is offering 20% off of her 8-week Soul-ation mentorship and coaching program for our Fave community. Let her know that you came from Fave, and she will honor that. And you get to work with her through these different things. And one of the points we did not get to was rituals and techniques, but know that that is the other piece to this. And Sharon, thank you so much for coming. And it's just been such a delight and so many great little nuggets. Thank you.
It's been an honor. I love it. I love what you're doing, Karen. I honor you tremendously. It's been so beautiful to watch you dream and all the pieces to come together and still keep shining. And so I totally and thoroughly honor you and thank you for this opportunity.
Yes. And it is my passion to bring women together, like with the gifts that you have, and to bring them to all of us so we can benefit from that and all walk forward. So thanks for coming, Sharon. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, ladies, we will see you next time on Ask the Expert. We're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. and we will see you next week. Bye now.